All right. Hey. Welcome back, guys. All right, here we go. Let's get into this. By the way, my videos have really been processing slowly since yesterday. So, guys, we will get videos out. I just don't know how long things are going to take because I've never seen it take this long. So something's bogged down. But Zodiac videos are coming. All right, so we have death and rebirth. That is Scorpio energy. We've got a big transformation. We may have somebody, possibly a divine masculine, who works in a hospital setting. They're wearing hospital scrubs, or maybe that's just a metaphor for, healing. We've got two individuals here in prayer, and a feminine who seems to have surrendered. But we have the divine coming in, and again, we have three people on this card. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and say it looks to me like we have a feminine who is giving up on one relationship and is going to embark on a completely different relationship. Now, I also feel like we have a divine masculine. One might be wishing and praying because he's the one who lost her. One of them definitely lost her. And the new one, I think, is going to be the individual who he's been busily healing himself. He may be a new love interest about to enter into her world. She is aligned underneath him. I feel like one relationship has ended. Like we have a feminine who is actively releasing the memories of an ex. The ex is meanwhile also mourning the loss of this connection and knowing that he's lost her. And then a new person is going to be a part of a relationship with her, but they themselves have been healing. Now, I have to say this. I see the new person, the one who's in the hospital scrubs, in the blue shirt, like all business. I feel like the individual that has lost her, who's more casually dressed, is the one who now his work begins in in this case, he's got like a plumber's wrench. So I'm wondering if his emotions are going to be something that he's got to, work through after having lost her. Look, both of these masculines have, I'll say, have and will experience important growth because of her, and vice versa. We've got this rainbow's arc over the three of them. Like maybe these were kindred souls that somehow their destinies were a little bit intertwined. But we definitely see, let me just ask about the relationship that's ending, because I would say we are looking simultaneously at a reconfiguration. Three people is not a love triangle. This is the closure and full awareness that one relationship is over and a new one is about to begin. The relationship that's ending, it's under no uncertain terms. She is aware. She has no more thought or wish or even glimmer of hope that a relationship of the past is going to be a part of her future. And that's not to be like, oh, that's so sad. No, this is actually a kind of like a really big positive that there isn't any more of that. I know that they're not coming back to me. I know that I'm not going back to them. I know my future looks different. In fact, I've already departed long time ago, as it turns out. We've got that Eight of Wands and it's full steam ahead. It's traveling the same direction that the Three of Wands is. I think that we have a feminine who has somehow just now had it click in her mind that I believe the relationship of my past with whomever this fellow is, I believe it was actually done and gone a long time ago, but I'm just now it was never coming back. When the relationship ended, and it could have been quite a while ago, it was over then. But the reality of either grieving it or acknowledging it has only just now sunk in. Maybe this took 7 years. Maybe it took 7 months. I doubt it only took 7 days. But that is a 7 of cups in the reverse, meaning there's no confusion, only clarity. And it's honestly, I had already moved forward. My destiny has already shifted gears. I've already been looking toward my future. But I'm now acknowledging that a previous relationship, that door is not going to be reopened. Okay, so it's very clear to her. Let's stick with this deck for just a moment and say, so tell me about the relationship with the person in the hospital scrubs and the business suit that's about to begin. Two of Swords, she's like, I can't see him yet. I don't see it. I honestly, at all. I haven't met him yet. We have all the police on horseback, which always makes me think of New York. I'm a West Coaster. I haven't actually spent time in New York except to change planes at JFK. So I don't know New York, but it's the only place I know of that has police on horseback. I'm sure there's other places. Forgive me that my brain immediately goes to New York City, though. I don't know if that gives a location. I don't know if it's, maybe she lives there, maybe he does. We do have a city skyline off in the distance behind them. I don't know if we have, since there's so much change going on, I don't know if we have characters moving locations, traveling, ending up living in different places. We see her like traveling with that 3 of Wands, and she got a couple maps in her back knapsack. This is also can be a card of travel. So we could have these characters are physically ending connections, starting new ones, or about to. In her case, she's about to start a new connection. But we could also have characters physically, traveling, changing, moving to different locations. Maybe he works as like a locum nurse or something where he travels for the medical profession. Here we see him dressed as like a foreman of a job. Maybe he wears a couple different hats. Maybe he's got a few different career paths, or, this could be like somebody in real estate stuff. This could be somebody who's got bigger plans. I feel like he's a real builder and a healer. And I feel like she herself is somebody who is very much about the building of life as well. She's all about her future. She's all about, like, she holds these plans, and here she's got, the maps or the plans in her backpack. So I feel like she's in a flow where she's thinking about her own future. But when it comes to this new relationship, again, we see her saying, look, I'm not blocking that I know of, but I haven't seen anybody come toward me. I think the universe hasn't yet let her meet this new individual. She is not fighting against it. She's not, like, oh no, I just barely got over my ex. No, I think she's full steam ahead. But when it comes to me asking, what's the deal with this new person in the light blue, it's just he's wearing the exact same shade of the hospital scrubs as the blue shirt. That's why I keep saying that's him in the tie there. When it comes to meeting him, she's like, I don't see anybody new. I don't know. Where's the new person? Nobody's been knocking on my door. But I mean, I'm not averse to it. It's not like I'm fighting it. 7 of coins. That is kind of growing slowly. He will probably naturally migrate into her life. There are some seeds that have to be planted that he's busy working on some things right now of his own. So that new relationship is on the horizon, but some of that has to do with his own energy. We've got the 10 of Wands and we got the Empress here, sideways, by the way. Before I move forward, I just feel like I should say they each had a 7, right? She had the 7 of Cups. He has the 7 of Coins. 7s are divine numbers. That could be an important like vibe for the two of them. She's certain about something. He's also certain about something. 7 of Pentacles is where it's like, I look at it as elapse of time where we plant seeds, we nurture them specifically to see them grow. We have an end goal in mind and we reach those goals. 7 of Cups is the difference between like all these options, all this confusion, and then finding certainty. And so I kind of feel like the two of them have something a little bit similar as far as like the divine is working through both of them with a sense of purpose and clarity. True, she has not met him yet. The divine is like got all the police on horseback here blocking it, saying, no, he's got to do a couple things still. He's busy planting some seeds the way he needs to. In the meantime, with that 10 of Wands and the Empress, this says what both of them need to do. She probably needs to shift herself, into the full-blown, I am an Empress. I, see my empire and I see, again, my plans, because she's all about having these plans. She got an intention of what she wants to do with her life. This is kind of like her moment to just click that into place before this next relationship begins. Meanwhile, that masculine that she'll end up with, and by the way, please remember, I don't read for genders. This could be masculines, feminine, same-sex couples. But he's at a precipice right now of choosing which direction he's going to go. He already knows this isn't something that he needs to study up on. This is more of like an intuitive decision to like lay down some kind of burden that, and it could just be an internal, mental burden where he's been bothered by something, and maybe he's been bothered by something that is not his problem. He didn't create the issue. Maybe somebody's unhappy with him, but again, we're not going to please everybody. That's just how that goes. But we will have to select which pathway we take in life. And this is looking more almost like a Two of Wands card, even though this is the 10 of Wands. We don't usually see the two different branches of roads that we could take on a 10 of Wands, but we do in this particular deck, which to me, that merges the two. It reminds us that we have the choice to lay down our burdens, to not, why would we trudge toward the tornado? Let's take the path that takes us away from the tornado. Again, I'm thinking that between him, maybe planting things, seeds, this could be money related, this could be career related. We saw him possibly in two different professions with that first two cards that we saw. Maybe he needs to alter the way he's doing something, and he already knows what he wants to do, but he's got to change some stuff for himself and not feel bad about doing that. Meanwhile, she might need to step into her like truly empowered divine feminine energy of, I'm an empress, I have these plans, and I'm putting my plans into place. She wants to do something big in her life, but I think he does as well. For him, it's shifting pathways. For her, it's like blowing up is maybe what I would say here. All right, so what's going to happen for these two then? Because we know that the relationship of the past is over. We know what they're headed for with this new relationship. In this case, is love. But I do think that they both have to do things that they love in their own lives, because that Ace of Cups can be self-love as much as it can be giving my heart to another. And we have this sense of peace, and we have this light bulb coming on, and we have, somebody offering that cup. This to me would be shared energy. When both characters are feeling like they really love their own lives themselves, that's when they'll probably be ready to merge, to meet each other. Divine, are you going to have some kind of assistance for these two and helping them to interact? We have the Temperance sideways, and we literally have the Angel here, but we also have the 10 of Pentacles. The Divine's like, I only do so much. Y'all got free will. You mortals, you do what you want to do. I just give some nudges like, hey, wouldn't it be great if you loved your lives? Hey, wouldn't it be great if you, realize you're divine beings? And then, hey, wouldn't it be great if because of those like mental shifts that you make for yourself, that in turn has a ripple effect where in your tangible 3D world, you gravitate toward things that are better for you, happier for you, healthier for you. And maybe that's where you meet someone who's on that same wavelength. The universe is like, I don't force anybody. Y'all got to do what you got to do. But I certainly give that little nudge of like, it'd be better if you learned how to love yourself and chose really healthy choices for yourself. And then you'd probably meet people that are similarly making good choices for themselves. I like that gentle nudge without, oh yes, the universe has this. The universe will make this happen. I like the fact that the universe is like, I'm not in charge of where your heart goes. We got Temperance again, upright. I definitely feel like these two, if they listen to like their inner temple, right? We see a temple behind her, and I always look at temples more as like our innermost like self, the version of us that we know exists, that we talk to, in our own mindset. It's, to me, it's the version that comes out when you write something. I always am surprised sometimes by what I actually think until I write it out. And then I go, huh, yeah, that's spot on. Or sometimes I go like, wow, that was petty and petulant. Ooh, I don't like that version of my voice. Boy, I need to mature. Sometimes we write stuff, if you're a writer anyway, and then you reread it and you go, oh, that's on point, or, ooh, cringeworthy. I need to work on me. And I always think that it's a great way. I always have this rule where I write something, but then I'll always leave it for 3 days and come back and reread it, because by then I forgot I wrote it. It's like I'm reading it from a whole different person's perspective by then. It's always 72 hours for me. But I just feel like these characters are actually like, maybe they are writing down what they really want. Maybe they're finding a way. They say writing with your non-dominant hand is like connecting more to your subconscious also. You know, your whatever hand you're dominant with is going to be connected to your more cognizant mind, and then your subconscious speaks through your non-dominant hand. I can't write it all with my left hand, so apparently my subconscious is just like blah. But I don't know, maybe these characters are able to do that for themselves. Maybe there's something fun, a little exercise in that, or maybe they are, you know, taking a moment and writing down, like, what do they believe in? What would they like their lives to look like? How would they like to feel about themselves? Those might be 3 really good, sentences to maybe try answering, and then leave it alone and come back to it and maybe be inspired by their own inner voice. Because this says they will be, one way or another. They don't have to write it down, but one way or another, this feminine, I think, is moving in a similar direction to the masculine that she is on path to meet up with. We have the Hierophant and we have the Six of Cups. Holy smokes, we know that they're on path to meet each other. That is a definite for this particular story. There is the higher self is guiding them right now. Their desire for greater happiness, their desire to connect with a soulmate. There's not even a question mark as to whether or not these two are going to interact. It's already, because of who they are and because of the collection of choices that they're both starting to make, which, remember, the choices that lead them to each other begin with themselves. Saying, for her, she's saying, I want to live as an empress. I got plans. I want to pursue things that I care about. There's stuff I want to do to elevate my life. And then meanwhile, he's over here saying, I'm putting in some effort to grow in a new area of my life that I want to, and maybe quit choosing paths that, I'm walking into storm fronts that I don't have control over. I'm going to allow myself to choose what my intuition says, which is go the pathway, not of least resistance, but the pathway that, and I feel like this is maybe in career, but go the pathway where he can actually do the greatest good with the least resistance. Not everything, if we want to make positive change or be successful, maybe he's got natural talents that he's never allowed himself to pursue. Now he's going to. Maybe for a period of time, he, was like, well, I have to do stuff that's really, really hard. I'm not allowed to do stuff that would be easier and would be like part of my natural talent, because it feel bad that I just naturally be talented enough to be successful at something instead of having to work really, really hard. No, he has a natural gift and a talent, and I think he'll do really good things in this world using his natural gifts and talents, not constantly saying, I should sign up for something harder, more strenuous, more difficult. My life shouldn't be, one of great success without huge sweat and, tension. I think he's changing that perception a little bit, and I think he's going to go way further and do way greater things using his natural, inherent talents that he already possesses. All right, I'm going to leave this here. Thank you guys for hanging out. Thanks for giving it a thumbs up. Bye.